Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to our Wednesday edition video. And do I have a bit of a heart-pounding match for you today? Or at least it was for me here in the Tier 10 Premium Heavy Cruiser, the USS Salem. So, for those of you who do follow along on the channel, I did just feature this ship this past Friday, Saturday. And Friday's battle was a good one. We had patience. It was probably just standard battle. And I said if I had, and that was a live commentary, and I said if I had this really good crazy match, I would feature it. That is that match I'm delivering with you today. So there will be heart-pounding moments. There will be anxiety. There will be stress. There will be clenching of butt cheeks for several various reasons, which you will see as the match goes on here, and it's just going to be a really good battle. So I do have to warn you, it's a bit of a slow burn, but once we get about halfway into the battle, it's really going to pick up, and you can just kind of see how things unfold from here. So you may have already noticed in chat there were some enemy team players I were talking to, one of those being the Eye-Pin Dragon in the Satsuma. And he's divisioned up with two people, one of which is in this Holland right here. And I think the other one is in the Vampire, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I'm trying to read the name here. True Minister, yeah. So, you're just going to have to strap yourselves in and see what happens here. So, the cap was contested, so I am going to, of course, pop the radar. I've spent a lot of time talking about Salem versus Des Moines, so that's like combination of Friday, Saturday's video particularly. But what we have here with the Salem is 8.5 kilometer radar versus the 10 kilometer radar. As well as you have the super heal. You do not get the option of taking hydroacoustic search and radar. It's only one or the other, and then not being able to take the legendary propulsion or the enhanced propulsion plant in slot 6 like you would do on Des Moines, which I do take. So instead here on Salem we have the main battery modification 3, which improves our main battery reload speed at the cost of a slightly reduced main battery turret traverse. So I nosed into the island here, and if you've heard me talk about Des Moines, you heard me talk about Salem, I really refer to these ships as ships that you need to marry the islands. I mean, it is possible to do some open gunboating if you don't have any islands. I had a match actually 2 days ago where I was out in the open, and so I decided to keep using my propulsion, going forward reverse, juking shots from a Vermont and an Alsace, as well as some torpedoes. So here I'm being a little bit cheeky, trying to get some shots on the enemy Yamato here. I do have to be mindful because I'm going back forward. You can actually see his guns were looking this way, so I was very conscious of that. I'm trying to see if I can get some shells over the island here, so that's why I'm not just right up on it. Otherwise, you can be up on the island and shooting around the corner of the island. You can do that and not be detected. Just stick your front of your bow off. You remain dark behind an island as long as the midsection of your ship is between the island and the enemy ship. Otherwise, if the middle section of your ship comes out past the island, then you will of course be spotted. So that's how the spotting mechanics work here in World of Warships. So I'm playing with my speed. I'm just want to take my time and ease out here. There's no point. I don't need to go around the island. I also want to stay nearby our Vampire 2 because I want to try to help support him at the cap if the Holland pushes back in. Things are not going so well for our team on the A flank, unfortunately. So the enemy Satsuma has moved away. So I'm first to kind of reverse back again. Maybe we catch the Holland. Maybe I can get a little more distance between the island, because this is kind of the slow part of the match, because I'm not able to do a whole lot here. I'm concerned that the Satsuma might come out down the 910 line, but I really want to be able to lob shells over the island here. So we're just going to have to take our time here, but I just don't feel like I'm doing much. Our Vampire 2 is keeping the island between him and all the enemy ships. So it'd be better if he moved to the left side of C so I can get some vision. But now the Satsuma has moved back up, so now I'm going to inch back forward to be able to get shots off on the Satsuma here. So I'm worried about him coming wide and around. And at this point, it's the Holland or it's the Vampire 2 that's spotting me. So I got to be mindful of the situation here. So it's a little difficult because I could easily get wrecked by the enemy Satsuma's very large guns. Because they're definitely larger than Yamato's. I think they're like 20-inch guns, if memory serves correctly. So I'm looking over here, wondering if Holland is in C or nearby. So I'm going to go ahead and use the depth charge airstrike. So this is a fun trick you can do. I'm going to zoom in here, see if there's any AA being shot, if the Holland decided to leave his AA on. So you're going to actually see me use that multiple times and nothing gets spotted. So that makes me feel a little more comfortable to reverse back. But then on the mini map, the enemy Vampire 2 just got spotted. So I'm going to swing my turrets back towards the enemy Vampire 2. There's multiple enemy ships pushing up on the Vampire 2, and I get vision that the what is that? The Holland has actually moved over to Bravo. So that's good information for me to know. It helps me know how that I can actually reverse out here and not fear getting punished by the enemy Yamato's 18-inch guns. So we're going to reverse out here. The trouble is the enemy Yamato is closing the distance, so it's actually making it hard for me to lob shells over the island as he gets closer. So we'll switch back to the enemy Satsuma, I-Pin Dragon, seeing if we can't get a fire or something started here. With having the enemy Yamato this close and spotted, he's activating my top grade gunner skill, which means I'm getting an even faster reload. So when you look at how things are going, especially with our team positioning, it does not look like it's going well. So the Yoshino's going out a bit wide here, so I'm gonna have to inch forward back just a little bit. He's really the only one who can punish me at the moment, so not really concerned about that. So I want to call him out. I want my team to focus him, but we're gonna go dark now. Holland was spotting us a little bit there as well. And this is the beginning of where things are going to start to increase here. So the enemy Yamato looks like he's going to come down around the island. So that's definitely a concern. So I want to know what he's up to. So I go and pop radar. I probably could have waited a little bit longer just to see what he was going to do. Because one of the challenges versus the Des Moines is that you can't cycle between your radar and hydro. So once you use your radar, your eyes are dark unless you have proximity detecting within 2 kilometers of an enemy ship, or you're just trying to use the depth charges and trying to figure out where the enemy ships are positioned on the other side of the island, which you're going to see me use multiple more times here coming. So when you look again at the minimap, does not look good for our team at this point in time, because we have our Vampire 2 who's getting overwhelmed a bit there. And most of my team is on the I line and J line, so I am the closest enemy ship for the enemy team for them to shoot at. So I'm beginning to feel a bit nervous, but it's way too late for me to disengage and just try to run away from this island. That I need to stay here and fight. But it'd be nice if that Montana, for example, was more like the HI9, that he'd be a little more further over so I could see what's happening. And so now you see in chat, close match, so keep that in mind. So the Yamato is coming around. There's a spotter plane, so I don't have anything else to use my defensive AA on, so I am just going to go ahead and shoot a spotter out of the sky. And I'm just kind of setting up here, waiting for him to make the push. Enemy Hindenburg goes down to the enemy Yamato, or our Yamato, excuse me. So our team is far back, but they are still making an impression as the enemy team's kind of just throwing themselves into the meat grinder. I mean, we'll see now the Thunder is moving up next. So, yep, and there's the enemy Yamato. So now I need to inch up. There's this lower gap here between the rocks, and I want to focus on his bow. So I'm not sure how I'm going to handle the 18-inch salvo. I'm just going to try to be angled. I mean, my angling's not really going to help me if he decides to shoot me directly through the bow, because the 18-inch guns will just cut right through the bow. So we're going to try to get as many shots off as possible. He is smart. He begins to turn in, so we're not going to get too much more damage here. For some reason, he did not go for the bow shot. He aimed high. He incapacitated one of our main battery turrets and did only like 5k damage to us. So we got quite lucky. So now with him like this, means I can keep focusing his bow. Now the thing I missed here, really important, is that C's being capped, and I'm not noticing this, and I'm afraid that the enemy model, because I'm about to kill him, is going to just come forward and ram me. But that is not the case, because he's not going to be able to get the speed up in time before I get the kill. Now, here I'm reversing, and oh crap, butt clinch moment. Ooh, it's only 15.5k. So we instantly popped the heal as soon as I saw him come around the corner. So he just got a lot of overpins. So at least I'm thankful for that. So now we need to go dark. We need to get around this island. I definitely do not want to ram the island right here, because in this situation, I just need to disengage. I need to go dark. I need my team to come down off the J line, guys, and give me a better helping hand here. So I do go and pop the radar, so I'm providing spotting. Actually, our spotting damage is indeed going to go up here before the match is over. And now I'm basically going to have to go deal with this enemy Yoshino. So one of the things I like about Yoshinos is how much they like to show broadside, and how I like to get citadels on broadside Yoshinos, and cruisers or battleships particularly. So we're gonna nose in here. He does have torpedoes, but I'm not going to come completely out around the corner. So next salvo should kill him. And we do not take really much, any damage there at all. There's no torpedoes, so perhaps they were incapacitated permanently, or he'd already fired them and they're on cooldown. Now we get to move up a little bit more. Now here's the tricky question. My Zal's really not close enough to spot if the Minotaur comes right behind the island. And so I want to know, is someone going to come around right here in front of me? Is someone going to come around behind me at the same time? Kind of what the Yamato and Satsuma did. So this is a bit edgy for me. So I'm asking for help. My team needs to get off the J line. Because they're not helping at this point as the enemy team controls all the caps that we have to get in here. So I drop a depth charge airstrike behind me. There's no AA coming from that direction. So that tells me there's no one directly behind me. They seem to be most likely in the cap. So I'm going to start trying to back off here. And I'm going to have another depth charge airstrike come off cooldown here. I'm going to go there. It looks like there's 2 AA coming more from this position where I pinged the cap. So I'm going to start reversing immediately. I'm still paranoid that there might be an enemy ship behind me. So that's why I'm trying to turn my guns to look behind. But the Satsuma is right there. So we are going to bring our guns back around for Satsuma. And we reverse just in time that we have a lot of these rocks in the way. So he only gets 1 hit there. So we're doing all right for now, and it doesn't seem like the enemy Minotaur is behind us. He's probably somewhere in the cap up by just back in behind the Satsuma. So we're gonna keep reversing off here. We're getting some really good damage with our AP here. My next radar comes off cooldown, and so I'm gonna light up the Minotaur. I really want to know where he's at. The enemy Holland doesn't seem to be anywhere around, unfortunately. So we're just going to keep focusing on the Satsuma. The Zal is finally coming up more. The Yamato's coming up more, it looks like. Our Montana's finally getting off the J line. So good for them. Would have been much more helpful if they would have done that sooner than what they are doing now. So we're actually going to be able to go dark here and keep shooting at the Satsuma. So we're just going to keep throwing out this very nice American armor piercing onto Mr. Ivan Dragon. But unfortunately, right before we're able to try to finish him off, he does go dark. But the Zao, I believe, or maybe it's the Montana, has shells in the air. So I'm going to go ahead and push back up and see if I can't spot the Satsuma. And yeah, it was the Zao. So the Zao finishes him off. And now we're going to switch to armor piercing, because what are the chances that an enemy Minotaur is probably going to be broadside to us? I'm going to say hi. So he's beginning to turn in, but we caught him just time that we're able to get 2 citadels there. And now he's smoking up, which doesn't really mean anything to us at this point in time, because he already fired his guns. Now he did get torpedoes off, and we're going to take 1 torpedo here, unfortunately, but we're just going to DCP that. We're going to keep the AP flowing, but the Zao polishes him off before we can get the kill. And so there in the chat, you can see True Minister, Mr. Holland, is very upset with his team for trying to throw. So I'm detected, and it is not the enemy Shikishima spotting me. So now I'm hunting, trying to figure out where is the Holland. So he's either far back off in Bravo, he's just gone dark, so there's something between me and him. It's an island, or it's a smoke screen. So we're gonna go ahead and push forward here, get close enough. We need to polish off the Shikishima. The challenge is I have to take the cap. Less than a minute before the enemy team wins at this point in time. Now we've pushed it at a minute 18. We're gonna keep the HU going, and now Shikishima's dead. But now we have red angry triangles coming in on us as I type, so there wasn't really anything else I could do there. So I do preemptively pop, or I had the heal going. So he's somewhere north, but the challenge now is we can't, even if we were to get on all caps, I think right at this moment in time, it's too late. By the time we need to stop their points and then begin a positive intake of points, it's just simply too late. Now, the Holland, I'm going to go ahead and say it, the Holland's smart. Okay, he knows to run in this situation. There is no need for him to throw away his ship. There's no need for him to just try to come tank on a Salem with 2 battleships supporting. So he is smart in this instance. So it is good for him. However, we're going to keep going. I'm going to just be talking basically in chat now. Trying to see if maybe we can catch the Holland over here. Maybe he's not too far away for us. Unfortunately, we burned all of our radar because I was the only one that's providing spotting for all the enemy ships basically in sea. And you can see our spotting damage ended up at almost 46,000 spotting damage here in Salem. So we're going to use the depth charges again, fish out, see if we can't find some AA firing traces. Unfortunately, there's none. So he's nowhere close. So I'm wondering maybe he's over on the 9 line. Maybe he's circling around, getting on the side to torpedo. But it's too late for me to even try to go for B to cap. But this is a situation where Holland plays it well, but the allies on my team were just way too passive, all hunkered up on the HI-IJ line. And succeeding to the pressure. They needed to reapply pressure and do a counter-offensive much earlier. So there's actually some gun traces in the distance you can see there. So Holland was up basically on the A line. So really good for him, and congrats to the enemy team for the win, which they all owe basically to that Mr. Holland doing quite well there. So we're going to get over 1.4 million credits. We're going to end with the Dreadnoughts for how much damage we took, with almost 210,000 damage. You know, there's a good portion of the battle we weren't able to fire our guns very much, so yeah, that part of the battle was tricky. We're gonna land top on our team with 1700 base XP with just a 1 kill. We did have some attentive fire, I will say, at least from the remaining ships, even though they were playing a little too passive. By turn the enemy battle, or time the battle was over. And here you can see we took 90,000 damage in the Salem. 1 million potential damage, so it was a lot of close quarters, so our potential damage isn't going to be super high because we just basically ate majority of that, good portion of that damage. And with premium accounts, we're going to end with just over 1.3 million credits. So I will have to apologize. My heart was pretty pounding, or was kind of excited after this match ended. Even though it was a loss, it was an exciting game. But I failed to compliment iPendragon and then Mr. True Minister. And then I'm going to have to actually look probably up on my phone to the fellow gent in the Vampire 2, because I completely forgot to do a post-battle compliments. So I'm pulling up your name now, Mr. Nope, not that match. That was earlier. Here it is. Because I feel like I'll eat flack if I don't say your name. The FBB? Doesn't look like there's anything else there. So I wonder what that stands for. So you're going to have to let me know in the comments. But hats off to you, Holland. You did a really excellent job. A lot of players in World of Warships could learn from you and how not to throw a game. So yeah, you did excellent. So really good job there. And not coming back trying to kill me or win harder. Because you may have killed me, but I don't know. I like my chances. So if you didn't catch Friday's highlights, Saturday's upgrade commander build of the Salem, I will post them here at the end of the video for you to check out. And just a really good match. And you probably all thought I was dead when you saw Mr. Satsuma come into sea. When I was completely broadside, I thought I was dead. I was hardcore clenching my butt cheeks at that point in time. And we didn't die, so thank you, RNGesus. So if you liked today's video, give a thumbs up. If you did not, give a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.